Before heading to the video, if you haven't subscribed the channel, do subscribe it and don't forget to click the bell icon for the latest update notification. If you like the video, do like, comment and share. Stay tuned with learnbay.co. Happy learning!
So now the last piece of puzzle is understanding the idea about GCP or Google Cloud Platform. Okay, and we will try to do this the same deployment over in Google, and we will try to see that uh, how we can activate or how we can run this over GCP itself. Okay. Now first we will need to discuss about GCP itself, what GCP is all about. So what is Google Cloud Platform? Okay, or what is, let's say, maybe I will do this here. So like what are Cloud Platform, or what is AWS? Okay, or like what is Azure? So basically these all are technically PaaS or SaaS, if you want to think it like that. And you basically get online computing. Okay, computing just happens to be one of them. You get online storage, so it's a whole suite of services. Okay, any kind of cloud computing that you want, and any kind of API that might be useful, most of it is already available, and these three happen to be the major three players. Okay, now AWS of course was the first one in this market, first major giant in the market, and it has, I think, 60 or 68% of the overall market. So you can understand AWS is a leader by default. But what has happened in last 2-3 years, basically, that people are coming up, and GCP and Azure have really very aggressive pricing these days, and they have also come up with host of services. Okay, uh, and which to compete against AWS itself. Okay, so I don't find it very hard that within couple of years we might see a bit of balancing out with AWS, Azure, and GCP, that each will have a very fair share of its market. Okay, and you can of course look into their pricing support and everything. Now, a lot of places you will have AWS due to their default systems or some kind of a legacy configuration. Okay, and plus a lot of people are already working, so you won't be able to do much over there anyways. So you will have to work over there and do work on any tool that is already existing. So you can't do much over there. Okay, but let's say if you have the option to choose, I will actually implore you to look into Azure or GCP. Okay, to understand means these servers are usually a bit faster. Okay, and on an average they will cost you like 20 to 25% less on an average. Okay, for anything, for storage or compute. So for compute they are willing to give you almost 35% off compared to like AWS, if you kind of just go for a long-term commitment with them. Storage is almost 21% cheap. So if you have the option from design part itself, you have this power to choose, let's say, which cloud provider you want to go with. You can very well look into GCP or Azure as well. Basically, I can vouch for both of them. That both of them actually happen to be pretty good, and you can go and check out their features a bit more, which one might suit your applications. But it works good. Okay, and they have like given some comparisons that for different use cases, how much could be the GCP pricing and how much AWS will cost at the same time. Okay, and you can look into various comparisons that on an average day, these are again sample comparisons. So on an average day, you will see that there is a massive amount of saving that you can have if you are using GCP, and same is with Azure as well. Actually, Azure will also be like in the very same range of savings. So I will really implore people, if you do not have any binding or any kind of special binding with AWS, you can very easily look into Azure and GCP. And so what is GCP fundamentally? Is basically is offered by Google is a suite of cloud computing services which runs on same infrastructure that Google uses internally. Okay, so on the same infrastructure, it is running Google Search, YouTube, and whatnot. Uh, that same infrastructure is offered to you as well as a service. Okay, no, it's just not infrastructure. Of course, it's actually a PaaS, platform as a service. And basically GCP actually consists of these physical assets. So in far remote areas in USA and rest of the world, they have these massive data servers, and they have these servers, computers, hard drives, and these basically are categorized as your VMs, virtual machine, and they are basically contained in Google data centers around the globe. Now, in each data center is in a region. Okay, so there are different regions available: Asia, Australia, and I will show you. Even in India now, I think in South India and Central India is also available within GCP. And basically, it can help you to cut down the latency if you know where your market is or where your most of users are, and accordingly, if you can place a server, okay, or you can choose the area. And basically, it can help you with these various APIs that it has at its disposal. So it can help you with the redundancy. So even if one physical server fails at somewhere which contains your data, it has minimum 10 replications all over around the world. So immediately a backup server is put up and you would not even notice that your server was down. Okay, it happens in milliseconds. Okay, and it also tries to reduce latency by locating the resources closer to the clients. So, do you understand the idea of latency, first of all? Miss, I think we talked like last week a bit.
Like delay, right?
Yeah, delay. So what happens is most of our data or internet packets are, most of it, like I think 97 or 99, 97% travels through optical fibers, basically. Okay, means it's a cable, literally cable. So we have submerged Atlantic cables, and even in Bay of Bengal, like there is a massive node at Mumbai, basically, which actually lets the optical fibers enter India. And so actually most of the internet data on planet Earth is actually traveled or transferred by optical fibers actually. Okay, now it's a simple rule. It is basically converted to light, basically light. Yeah, you can take it as light signals, and they will travel at the speed of the light. But now even if it is at the speed of light, if I were to take these wires, the distance matters. Okay, so if something is placed closer, physically closer to a client, the access time will be less, so they will feel that there is a very low latency system. Okay, so that is the whole point, that if you were to do that, it will feel like there is a very low latency system, and if you place the resources accordingly. Okay, now Google, again, they are adding services day by day. So again, even this is an old picture technically. So Google Cloud Platform has compute, first of all. So it has App Engine. Over there you can deploy website, web apps, even mobile apps. So that is a good example of PaaS. It has a compute engine, which could be a good example of IaaS, okay, infrastructure as a service. So they will provide you these VMs. And then you have container engines that is again powered by Kubernetes. And then you have storage services, which can be again a good example of PaaS or IaaS, depending on which storage server you are going for. So you have cloud SQLs, you have cloud data stores, Bigtable, cloud storage is available. Then big data, so various softwares are already available: BigQuery, PubSub, Dataflow, Dataproc, and Data Lab. And then for machine learning, there are APIs. This is properly SaaS. Okay. So Cloud ML is available. AutoML is also available now. Cloud Vision, Translate API, speech to text APIs, text to speech API. All of this is already available. Okay. So Google Cloud Platform, as you can see, is consisting of all three technically: IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. Okay. So how many people of you people already have an account on GCP? Or if you're not, again, I have told you yesterday, if you have a Gmail account, you can log into your GCP with the same Gmail account. And if you have a credit card, just put it there. It will take the information, and it will just deduct like ₹1 or something. And then after 1 or 2 days, it is back in your account, in your credit card. And then it will basically provide you instantaneously $300 worth of credit, which is valid for 12 months. Okay, and that is pretty sweet, to be very honest, if I may say. That it gives you time to kind of build, kind of run some VMs and even run some experiments, or maybe host a website or something. You can do a lot of things even with that $300. Okay, so I would really urge you guys to give it a try. And if you want to know that how much it will cost you or something like that, so again, you can go for the calculator and even forget any kind of special pricing. Even if you just want to assemble a simple system with, let's say, Ubuntu, and And you will see you can also later go back and try to compare this pricing with AWS pricing, and you will find this pricing is definitely very cheap. So if I want to get like two virtual CPUs, 7.5 GB RAM, unless I do not want any GPU, I do not want any local SSD. Okay, and even if it were to run all the time, it would cost you $48.54. I can wholeheartedly tell you with my experience that it on an average cost on AWS, almost the same system will cost me close to $65 to $70. Okay, in Azure it is same. It is if it is 48 here, and Azure it will be like 49 or $50 again. Same, very same system. Okay, so you will realize that in longer run, you will realize that this system or basically this idea will cost you a bit cheap compared to an AWS. Okay. So I really will implore you guys to make an account on, even you can do this on Azure or AWS, that's okay. Choose one and try to do some, maybe establish some project, maybe host your projects. So when you go for some recruiter, host your projects on AWS or GCP or Azure and just show them that I have done this. And if you go to this link, all the website and the project is live. Okay. So if you want to take a couple of minutes to make your GCP account, that would be, I can wait for 2-3 minutes, and maybe if you want to start, we can start as well. Okay. Okay. Just 1 minute, guys, 1 minute. Okay, all right. So far, any questions, first of all? So you've already logged in, and basically we have created a ML deployment, but I will show you from start. Don't worry about that. So basically this is how, once you log in and once you make the account and everything, this is how your dashboard is going to look like. So first of all, you will have to usually provide some project info. So let's say the name is ML deployment. Okay. You can come up with different compute engines and different VMs. Okay. Then you have your billing, then you have monitoring. Okay. Then if you have created some kind of APIs, then it will show if you are including some kind of API. Okay. And of course, how many storage buckets you have, how many resource engines. And then there is error reporting, news, and getting started as well. So there is some helping solutions, and there is of course a documentation. Okay. So if you want to learn about compute engine in details, there's a proper documentation available. Okay. For everything, how to start, how to do this. So we are not going to get in that much details, but we will basically start with, and we will be using a Linux VM. Okay, so always remember this, that we are going to use a Linux VM, and how to create it. And I will show you directly. So let's not do this. I will show you directly how to create one. So let's say if you have to go for a VM, then basically in Compute Engine, now there are different things. There is something called App Engine, where it is a serverless app deployment. Then we can also have API and services which can be utilized by any other customer who have the authentication. Then in the marketplace, you can go, and then we have billing. This is where the credit card details usually is. And then there is support, IAM and admins are provided. So if you want to go to marketplace, so you can search for almost any service. Okay, any service. Let's say you want MongoDB. It will tell you that MongoDB free tier is available. Okay, if you want, like, no, I want some other SQL. Let's say if it has Postgre. So again, we use PostgreSQL a lot. So it doesn't have Postgre directly, but it has crunchy PostgreSQL for GKE, which is pretty good actually. It has Cloud SQL, which is Google's own version of basically MySQL. And basically it is almost very similar to Postgre as well. So there is not much difference. We can use that. Okay. Then it has a PostgreSQL server. If you want to initiate in a proper server, then it has a PostgreSQL server, which you can utilize. Okay. So it's just a matter of searching, and a lot of these services are actually free. So you are basically paying for the VM, but these services are free. Okay, but you want to find AutoML, let's say. So this is here, Google Cloud AutoML API. Okay. And again, different things. There is Traffic Pulse and there is AutoML Video Intelligence that is already available. So you can go there and you can also utilize that if you want to. But remember, there's a cost. So make sure of that. There is a cost. So it's not like it's really free. Okay. So after a while, it will really start charging you some money. Okay. So it does cost you a lot of money after a while. So if you want to use this kind of system, if you want to maintain a system, this is what it's going to cost you per month. And the fee for Traffic Pulse and Cloud is this much, $7,300 per month. They do provide you some discount, but still it's pretty massive. So the cost will also come up after a while. It's not that all of these things happen to be actually free. Okay. So similarly, you can look for various IaaS, PaaS, and let's say if you want to look for BigQuery, right? So BigQuery is again a Google Cloud platform. Basically, it is like Hive, okay? So Hive is like a distributed data warehouse. So BigQuery is also like an enterprise level data warehouse. So you can install or you can utilize BigQuery as well. And this BigQuery, as I remember, is free basically. Okay. So my whole point is basically you can go there and now, okay, let's come back to compute engine. So if you want to come up with a proper compute, then you have to go for your VM instance. Okay, now let's say already have two VM instances, let's say they are running, but what if we are not happy or if we want a new VM instance? Okay, if I want to make a new instance, then what should I do? So there are multiple ways you can create a new VM fundamentally. Okay, so one simple way, and let me go like that. Maybe I can just hide this info panel. I will talk about the VMs, and we are going to use the ML VM actually. Okay, so let's say I have already created a VM, and I will also show you we can create a new one actually. Okay, so let's say this is a ML, and you will have SSH details. How many people understand what is SSH? And this is like two CPU, 7.5 GB memory machine. Okay, and this is the IP that is available on which you can connect. We have allowed the HTTPS traffic. It contains an Ubuntu 18 Bionic version 2.02. 20 GB size is the hard disk. It is SSD persistent. Okay, and the encryption is managed by Google itself. So, okay, you can your mode is for boot, read and write, and you can while deleting instance, it will just delete the disk. So all the data will be just gone. Okay, all right. And you can set out monitoring and screenshots and whatnot. So again, we are not going to go that much into it. Okay, what is SSH first of all?
It's secure shell by the terminal.
Yeah, so SSH is a good tool. Basically, what you can do is you can securely log into, let's say you have your own terminal, okay? And okay, so let's say this is you are the user. And through secure shell protocol is a different protocol compared to an HTTP. But let's say this is your server, okay? You can SSH into its own terminal. What it means is by this SSH, you can basically then operate or use this terminal on your own terminal, basically. Okay. So basically it gives you the access of the OS of this, whatever OS you have here from your own personal or whatever computer you have. Okay. So through secure shell, so for a good client for secure shell, now best one is terminal according to me. Okay, so if you have terminal, you don't have to think about anything. Okay, but one of the good tools which you can utilize is Putty. Okay, So you have to provide the host name and IP address. So SSH is on port 32 mostly, okay? And then connect it. There might be a username password, which of course I will not show you at any point. So you can connect it through Putty, and then Putty will show me the kind of a Linux terminal. And over there we can work as it is. Now we will use the default terminal that has been provided here. But you can very easily connect if you are on Windows, you can connect it through Putty, okay? All right. Let's say you want to create a new instance. You are like, no, I want my own instance. I do not want this. You will have to provide a name first of all, okay? Now it will be showing you in parallel that how much it will cost you, whatever you are using. So first of all, ideally, depending on your latency issues, you should select your own region. So let's say I select Mumbai. Okay, actually we'll see Mumbai will get a bit costly, okay? So maybe I will try something else, maybe Singapore. No, it is even more costly. Means there is a cheaper option, I know that. Maybe Hong Kong. No, it is getting costlier. Okay, so in Iowa, it is miss when you go for the US versions like Iowa, it will be the cheapest one, no doubt. Problem is it can introduce a latency that you might not be happy with. Okay, that can actually happen. So you should ideally look for a reason which is closer to your place, but yeah, of course, the cost might be a factor. So let's say we stick with Mumbai right now, okay? And this is by default, zone is automatically selected. So Asia South one. And in Mumbai zone, there are only two ways, two things are available, general purpose and memory optimized. Let's say I just want a general purpose. So this machine, N1 standard one, CPU 3.75 GB memory is gonna cost me this much. And if I were to go 7.5 GB, it will cost me $58.79. Okay, and here you can choose what you want. So this will be chosen automatic. Now you cannot add GPU here, and Mumbai reason it is not actually supported yet. Now you will have to choose what you want here. Now if you want a free VM or free whatever, so free OS, so there are free OS like with Debian. So you can also choose something like CentOS or deep learning for Linux on Linux. So it will choose that with all the configurations of deep learning with like PyTorch and whatnot. You can also install it separately. There is no requirement that you have to choose this. So fundamentally, I don't choose like deep learning. I mostly go for a Ubuntu server directly. Ubuntu, sorry, not server. And the 20 is the latest one, so I can go for the whole 21. Now it depends, you want to use a standard persistent disk or SSD or a balance, which kind of gets the balance of the standard as well as the SSD. Let's choose SSD as standard because that is going to be cheaper. Let's say you go for 100 GB here, select. Okay, so now it is a 100 GB standard persistent disk. So means 100 GB disk is kind of with it. You can give firewall rules. So there are like a lot of firewall rules and you should know how to manage those rules. Okay. You can also go here and look into various of these. Okay, sorry, I can't do it from here. So basically what you can go there is, and you can come up with the management and the security rules. Okay. And once you do this, it will be start to build. So I will not create this because again, it charges something. So I will not create this, but after doing this, you can just create it right from here. Okay. And you can also get the command line for this or rest command for itself. Okay. So you can do it from here, or you can also get a template. Now I already have like two systems. These behave like a template. So means I have just created them for my own use later if I wanted to, especially for deep learning or something. Okay. You can also go from a machine image. So you can also create your own machine image over there, or there are in marketplace, you can go and you have ready to go solutions. So for different kind of works, they have already have come up with a standard configuration. So you will have to look into which category you fall into. What kind of a developer are you? Okay. So for compute, they have like a lot of machines available. Okay. So for deep, one of the best ones happens to be this one. Otherwise, the NVIDIA GPU optimized. Okay. So you can look into it, how much it is going to cost you. Let it open. So it will cost you 1462 per month. Of course, it depends on the uses only when you run it 24/7. So you can look into what it contains. So it has Ubuntu 18, NVIDIA driver, Docker, as well as toolkit. So all of this will come pre-installed. Okay. Now let's see what it has. So it has a 8 virtual CPU plus 30 GB memory. Okay, that will cost me $277. It has a standard persistent disk of 32 GB, 1.54 per month. It has a single car Tesla V100 GPU that is going to cost me $1,800. But if you're going to use it for a year or something, it will give you a discount. So total, it is going to cost you $1,462.99 per month, which is a lot, to be very honest. I think it is close to 1 lakh rupees in 1 month. Now, it might not also be available in all the regions, so you will have to look in which region it is available. So this was the NVIDIA one, and there is the normal, let's see, the deep learning VM. Again, these are ready one-click deployable. There is not much time. Now, this is going to be slightly cheap compared to, okay, so it has an Intel system. So it has 2 CPU, 13 GB memory, that is $86. Standard persistent disk is 100 GB, that is also pretty good. But it has a Tesla K80 GPU. Even Google Colab provides K80 GPUs. Okay, so this is not a really powerful system, but still, if you just want to spend your $300, this is not a bad configuration. And it comes pre-installed with everything. Okay, so you don't have to sit there and install all of this. This will come pre-installed with everything. Almost anything that you do it in machine learning or deep learning, it comes pre-installed. Again, you can install everything on a normal system as well, but just telling you that these things are available over there. Any questions?
How do we decide how much system configuration, like how much RAM and how much this hard disk space is to be given?
It's like, it doesn't, like, it depends on your project. Like there is no general tip here. Okay, so so let's say you run a pandas, let's say you do sklearn machine learning basically. So when you do pandas analysis, do you ever check your RAM or stuff?
No.
You should. Okay, you should. That would be a good practice to start. So especially when you will get real-time files like 2 GB, 5 GB. I remember one time I think I got a 5 GB file and I had access to 12 GB of RAM. Pandas couldn't load the file. It threw a memory error. Okay, so it depends on what kind of use case we have. Okay, but for deep learning, on an average, this configuration that they are showing is a very average configuration. Having 2 virtual CPUs, 13 to 16 GB of RAM is minimum. That much you need to have. Of course, you need to have some standard disk, so 100 GB, 150 GB. At least one graphics card is definitely required. So that much is definitely required. So even in our deep learning module, we cover almost the whole deep learning through Google Colab. Okay, so Google provides you like what, close to 13 GB of RAM. It's a i7 quad core processor basically, and the backend. And then you can connect your Google Drive and you can have as much space, whatever your Google Drive can provide. So by default it is 15 GB, but you can of course pay and get it expanded. So you can put like pretty large data sets over there and you can work with that as well. Okay, but over there we also have seen, especially while using pandas, the memory is like, so if your file is like a 4 GB, if you want to read it, the whole file at once in pandas, it is gonna go like close to 14 or 15 GB immediately. It like goes 3-4 times minimum. Pandas will expand on memory pretty fast. So of course you will have to monitor your system to check like what kind of configuration you want. But this one is not a bad system. I can very easily say that this is a very good standard. Apart from this graphics card, I don't find this graphics card to be very good actually. But apart from this system, rest of the system or rest of the config is pretty good. This is something what you should aim for. Even if you're buying your own personal computer or a laptop, you should aim for similar configuration, 2 or 4 CPU core minimum, 16 GB again minimum, and of course you need to have minimum 100 or 200 GB of hard disk, and try to get a one decent graphics card.
Sir, can you just show us an example how much GPU a machine learning model will require basically?
Machine learning model will
How
hardly require a GPU. That is more than
okay,
enough.
then if we go for deep deep learning model, then how to calculate that?
Again, it depends on your requirements. I cannot give you an exact number that this is okay. I can only tell you like
Example.
what, yeah. On GCP, let's say again, if I were to configure something for video analysis, like emotion recognition or something. So this is something which we have configured once. Okay, so GCP pricing calculator, and you can get the idea immediately. Okay. And again, let's say you choose one instance, get any free OS. So do not pay for the OS at least. You will have to look, there are different machines. So if you want more memory, go for memory optimized. Okay. So they have like lot of machines there. Okay. So after a while, even I get confused like which one to choose here. Okay. So no, maybe not memory optimized. Maybe I will go with the general type only. Or maybe I think M2 machines will be there. No, M2 is even worse. Maybe in general purpose or compute optimized, we can find some good machines. Okay, so this one is good. 8 core CPU, 16 GB RAM is not bad. Okay, this is pretty good actually. Sorry, 4 core CPU, and if you want even a bit more powerful, 8 core CPU and 32 GB RAM should do the trick. And K8 is like a very old system, so I do not trust this one. Ideally, once I will advise people to go for either P100 or V100. So these both happen to be NVIDIA cards, NVIDIA P100 and NVIDIA V100. Okay. So these are server level cards. You do not buy them on for your home purposes because this is going to be very costly. Okay, so usually these things are 32 or 100 times close to and up to fast compared to a normal i7 quad core basically. Okay, so 640 tensor cores. So I think V100 should be good enough. So let me check how many cores it has and VLAN capacity, bandwidth. Okay. 300 watts, 250 watts. Okay. So this is the card that you install, let's say, and let's see the specification. Okay, the overall is this much. Okay, let's go for Tesla V100 itself for right now. Okay. So let's choose Tesla V100. Now, depending on your uses, now depend how big your files and everything are, you might have to choose two of them. And even a good SSD, now 375 is a bit too much, but again, just letting you know that how much it might still cost. And now it depends how much you are going to run. Let's say if you are going to run 24 hours training and everything, then let's see what is the price estimate, how much it is going to cost. It is going to cost you 3,722 per month, which is, if I'm not wrong, close to 2.3 lakh. Okay, but it is like a really powerful system. But let's say if you were not aiming to run it for all the hours, so you can like almost divide by half. So you can think the same system in terms of maybe let's choose general purpose this time and see if we can get a good configuration in general purpose also. So this is a decent configuration. Okay, or yeah, this is a good one. Or you can go for this one again, and you can add some GPUs there again. Try to add two of these and see how much is the pricing. And local SSD as again. So you need a decent local SSD or a hard disk, and let's say rather than 24, let's call it 12 hours per day. And this should be, yeah, this is 1700. So it is like just close enough to half if you think about it per month. So you will be end up paying like $1,770 per month if you use it even 12 hours per day. Okay. Okay. Is this clear?
Yes, sir, it's clear, but the doubt is there. It's highly getting expensive. What if we take a system and put it a capability of
So yeah.
accessing
If you have
somewhere?
like couple of lakh rupees with you, or even
Yeah.
1.5 lakh rupees close enough, you can of course put up a system. If you want to end up doing it for longer run, it is always better to buy a system. There is no doubt about it. But
Okay.
many times there is cloud infrastructure, or like there is a requirement from client that I want a cloud infrastructure.
Hmm.
Anyways, the client is paying it, so why you have to worry anyways. But yeah, for your
Right,
own
right.
personal uses or your own, let's say some development work if you want to do, and if there is a long-term use, which cloud solutions are definitely not going to be enough, especially for deep learning, Means you can put rest of the things on cloud services,
Hmm.
but you can do your training on your own server. So yeah, you can
Okay.
within 2 lakh rupees, you can have a very powerful system at your disposal.
Okay, okay. And so one more more down.
Sure.
Suppose a system is there which having configuration of 8 GB RAM and 8 core,
Uh,
and second system is 16 GB RAM, 4 core.
right.
Will both have same performance?
No, no, but it depends on your task, right? Is it like compute heavy or
If
is
the
it, memory
if
heavy?
the same tasks I am performing on both system.
Look, fundamentally, unless you have not parallelized it, it will just run on one core, okay? So it doesn't make
Okay,
any difference, okay? Unless you have to parallelize that task, then 8 cores will definitely give you an advantage, okay?
8 cores.
Yeah.
Even the RAM is low.
No, but depends. Can the whole file, again, this is what I asked, right? Is it a compute extensive task or a memory intensive task? Can it be
It's
loaded on the RAM at once or not? First of all, that is the question. If
eh,
it is a 4 GB file, if it can be loaded on the RAM,
mhm,
then it will, and if it is a single process or single core process, then it
mhm.
doesn't matter. So almost both will give you the same task. If you can multi-thread it or you can put it in a multi-process scenario, then 8 core will definitely be faster than 4 core. That is okay. But if you
Okay.
cannot even load that file, then of course you will require 16 GB or more RAM to first load the file in one go, because yes, if you could load the file in one go, the processing will be faster, no doubt about it.
Okay, sir. Got it, sir.
Okay, all right. So let's say rather than creating our own new system, we use the system that is already available. And I really implore you guys to kind of go here and look into various, and you can see like it will have a NVIDIA like GPU optimized PyTorch, and there is a GPU optimized for TensorFlow as well. And you can see it will like cost you again same like $1,400. So again, it has a V100 GPU, which is pretty good, which I was configuring as well. Pretty good GPU actually. And for 1 month, 1,462. Again, this is like close to 1 lakh rupees. And just not for deep learning, you can do it for Android development and stuff. You can install and get these VMs for different purposes actually. So let's say we start with ML actually. So this is already available. So what you can do is rather than doing a remote login, you can also go here and you can activate the Cloud Shell. Now, do you understand what is a shell or what is basically a terminal? How many of you have worked on Ubuntu or like Mac OS? So now basically it is going to open a cloud terminal, which I can access directly from the browser itself. Okay. I can also SSH in. So for SSH, there is a command. Let me show you. So if you want to use some client or something, so use another SSH client. So in my computer, it will directly jump for that one. Okay. So basically you will have to create your own private key. Okay. And through that, you can SSH to this machine. Now I cannot directly go for the private key right now. Okay. So what I will do is I will mostly use this platform and this basically terminal here itself, or you can also open the complete editor if you want to. The editor will help you kind of write the code or run the code properly. So you can do this and it will open in a complete new shell, complete new browser, tab of the browser. And here is your terminal and here it will open an editor. Okay. So just for ease of our work, I have already like uploaded the Flask ML demo code already here. Okay, so you can see, first of all, let's see what it is. So fundamentally, it's nothing, it's basically Linux, okay? It's just a Linux version that is running in the back end. And if I remember correctly, I have Ubuntu 18 here, okay? So now Ubuntu or the CentOS versions happens to be free. So that's why we have chosen that, okay? Okay. So I'm not sure, but maybe this should be LSB underscore release -a. Yeah, so it will show you which one version is available. So it has a Linux 10, basically GNU Linux 10. Okay, and release is version 10, codename Buster. Okay, so this is available here, which we can use through this Cloud Shell, and we can maybe try to deploy from here. Okay, now if you were to see what it really is, it's just a terminal. Okay, so if I do Python 3, it will just load Python 3 and exit first of all. Okay, so first go to ls and let's look into Flask what we have. So you see the same file structure. As you can see, you have app.py, hiring CSV, model.pkl, model.py, request.py, static and template. You can also go here and directly open the files if you wanted to. Okay, so this is the same file. I guess you can recognize it immediately. And you can also do pip installs if required. So let's say if you wanted to do pip, so maybe I will have to do pip3 here, pip3 install, because there is separation of Python 2 and Python 3. Let's say if you want to check if you have pandas or not. Okay, so let's say it updates pandas basically. So it installs and updates other packages already, which like numpy and these things are already available. Okay, and let's say, okay, fine. And maybe check pip3 install scikit-learn. So basically you can install any software as it is. Oh, sorry. Okay, so let's say it's installed already in this case. So this is the code, and if you wanted to run this code, you can check it out. And okay, so first we make sure that we have everything. So we have all the files and we can see the date and time of the creation and everything. Okay, so let's say if I have already have these files, then what I can do here is maybe I can do Python 3 and try to run let's say model.py. Okay, so it ran, it has trained the model. Again, you can want to check. So just observe the pickle file when it was created. Now the timing is not going to be same. It is showing, I think it is showing the GMT time. Okay, so you will see that it has been updated, but the time is just different because it is in a different location. Okay, and okay, fine. This file is available to us. Then what next I need to do? Python 3, and you need to run app.py. Okay, so it is gonna run this. Okay, so now how to open this? Now there lies in the whole problem. Now again, I can load it in its own shell environment properly. And again, now it is running in its own shell environment. It is not on my system. Okay, this is on Asia Southeast, that location you can see here. So this is a different server now altogether. And here in Cloud Shell development, I am running this. Okay, 6, 3, 4. Sorry. And this produces like 48,000. And you can go here and it will show you that this system is hitting it, or basically it is running it. Now the whole problem is, unless because you do not know the proper web development part, it would be slightly tough to tell you. And again, you will have to buy a domain name first of all. So if you, let's say if you want to make it visible to everyone, okay, so what is the option here? So either everyone can assemble in at my home, and we can port to a router. Okay, so let's say I have a router and 127 or whatever the router base is, I will forward it to that router, and whoever is on my router can access this web page. Okay, or what we will have to do is we will have to buy a domain basically. So go ahead and buy a domain, and you will get a DNS number over there for any domain that you basically create. Put that file, or basically create that file in your Flask, and then redirect your page directly toward the DNS number. And then whatever your domain name is, people can come there and visit and look at your directly, they can directly look at your website. Okay. So again, now till this process is live, my server is live. Okay. And it will keep making predictions for, let's say, some thousands of users in concurrently very easily. Okay. Without any problem. Okay. And whatever amount of request you make here, and you can see here that it will be able to handle. Okay. And sorry, one second. Yeah. So you will see that anytime I make the predict request, it will see /predict and it will show you 200, which is a success message, basically success code basically. And that is what it is running in the behind the scenes.
Sir, just a small doubt.
Sure.
Can we see the performance of this system? How much RAM it's taking
Good question.
during
So for
execution
that,
of code?
the problem is maybe I will have to look into it. Just give me one moment. If the same cloud shell, I can activate ls. So there is usually a tool. Let me check. Yes, stop. So you can see like this is a very lightweight application. It is not going to consume anything. Okay, so even out of 2 GB of memory that we have, let's say, it is hardly consuming, not 2 GB, sorry, why it's 2 GB actually. Okay, so in this, oh, sorry, we have 2 GB, let's say. So it is just consuming like 904, okay. So you can see this Flask is consuming 4% memory and 1.4% CPU. See this Python 3, this container, sorry, this Flask ML demo app.py. So you can see how much memory it is consuming. All right. So the command is called stop.
Okay, sir, got it.
Okay. So you can, through stop, you can definitely look at it. And here, let me kill the system. So once if I kill the system and if I refresh it, it will say it cannot connect to port 5000 because that has been disabled. So there is nothing broadcasting on 5000. So you cannot read or you cannot do anything right now. Okay. So this is the simple idea that you can create a VM and basically then it is just an online system. Okay. And whatever you do on your Ubuntu or Mac, you can also do it here. And if you were to just to connect it to a domain, then you can broadcast this service to everyone in the world. Okay, so maybe just buy a domain of your own name, let's say, and make sure, let's say my name is like Amritash, right? Let's see if I can get a domain on my name itself. So amritashpro.club. Yeah, so just so amritash.com is taken, so that is not going to happen. So you can get like anything, amritash.live, anything with your name, let's say, and you can make your own website explaining or showing all of the tech that you have worked, and you can even deploy that from the back end, okay, right from here. And that will be a very good resume, to be very honest. And when the projects are live, even it gives a very high amount of confidence to people who are observing or who are assessing. Let's say if I get amritan.co, which is not very costly, it is just 209 rupees. So yeah, of course I can go ahead and make all of my profile live on this website, and I can connect the backend from, let's say, GCP itself, so that it will showcase all of my projects in live, and I will just keep this server running. Anyway, GCP is going to give you $300, so you can utilize that. Make sense, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I would really implore you that treat this as an online system, virtual system, that an extra system that you can get, and you can run your processes online and you can deploy them. Now, again, this is like a very simplistic deployment. People can go very complicated depending on security and stuff. Okay, there is just one security, that is a password. Okay, there's no other security right now. Okay, so depending on your deployment and whatever level of consideration you want, you can have an online deployment. And depending on various problem statements, you can also have different deployment scenarios. Maybe you have to use a Kafka or Apache streaming servers as well if you have real-time data coming in. Okay, if you have video coming in, that is a different problem. Then you will have to deal with WebRTC protocols. Okay. So again, there is not just one line or one way of doing things. There are various ways of doing things. Okay. So it depends on your problem statement, how your problem statement is structured. Accordingly, we can design some kind of pipeline which can solve your problems, or which can which we can utilize to solve our problems, and we can deploy it over there. If you're done with it, do exit, and it will close down the terminal here altogether. And then you can also, if you want, you can just close it. In this Cloud Shell also, you can upload files or download files as well. Okay, so you can put files over there here, upload files. So right now I have killed that terminal, so that's why it's not giving an option. Otherwise, the upload files link is also live, and you can of course download the files from here as well. Okay, and you can restart, or you can just kill the whole thing as you want. So this is an easy to implement idea that you can run the cloud platform or Cloud Shell without knowing the too much details of the SSH part, and you can still work with it. And if you were to look into the monitoring or screenshot part, let me show you. So whenever it works, or whenever it is pushing really hard, so let me close the terminal and everything. So you can select like ML, and you can see, let me show you the info panel. You can look at the monitoring, that what was the CPU use at what time. So you, whenever you launch it, or whenever you are running some process, you will see the CPU use will go up. Now again, understand the ML models are not that heavy. Okay, especially the linear regression model is not going to be that heavy anyways. So it's not going to be that hard to run, or basically kind of process it. Okay, and it will also show you the network, how much network data it is using, and it will show you how many network packets you sent, and the disk input output. So when the hard disk was read and when it was written. So again, it will be literally treated as an online system, and you can see all of these metrics, and you can also kind of get these information through an API, and you can also get them or dump them down in a code or in a log files as well. Okay. So guys, the best way to learn GCP or Azure is to practice here. Okay. And you, ideally, I would say or tell you to basically make new instances. So first make an account, make new instance, and just treat it as an online system and practice. Just SSH through putty or terminal. Okay, and just practice as much as you can. And again, there are different things. It is just not an instance. There are instance groups available. Now that is going to be even more costlier. So you can manage instance group where you have multiple servers if you want to. Again, I have already created some instance templates. So rather than if I had to fire up a new one, I will just select and just fire up this one. Okay. So this will be just made live immediately with 8 virtual CPUs, 30 GB of RAM, and 2 T4 GPUs. Okay. And similarly, you have disk. So this is about how much disk you have. So in our two projects, we have one 20 GB, one is 80 GB. Okay, one has SSD persistent, one has a standard. So standard is your normal SATA hard drive. Okay, and then TPUs are a specialized tensor processing units, which is even gonna be costlier. Okay, so basically you will have to enable a TPU API, which I'm not gonna do that. Okay, but you can utilize special custom tensor processing units developed by Google, especially which is useful for deep learning right here. Okay. And then there are various security scans and everything. So almost all the major APIs and the functionalities are available. You can also check basically the performance of your system. So how it is doing, or like how it is working. So you can also check you can have a health check over there as well. Okay, and you can also check that if you keep using it for longer run, 1 year, 1 year, 2 year, then you will see that you will get you will get like 20%, 30% discount on all of this. So it is to be explored. There are a lot of things. First of all, it is just not one or two things that I can teach you here, but yeah, it will take a lot of time. You can go separate into storage as well. If you want to buy storage itself dedicated, you can buy extra storage and you can attach it with any app that you have put over there. Then you can monitor that how much you are using. Okay, because it will be billed. The storage is also something that is billed altogether. So you can check like how much you are storing, and it is just not storing, even on number of transfers, how much data transfer you are doing, the bill can actually change. Okay, it's
Sir,
taking time.
sir,
Yeah, tell me.
Can we also use GUI based systems, something like paper space?
I am not a fan of paper space, if you want to ask me that question. So I know what is paper space.
Yeah, just asking because I
Yeah, yeah.
haven't used.
But I am not sure like how much is it any cheaper like than what GCP is? Means I had got a like a
So
introductory pricing very long back ago, like 3 years
pricing,
ago.
I don't have any idea, but they are
Yeah,
giving
okay, okay. We can check it out. I don't
GUI
think so. Yeah, I don't
or
think so.
work
It's very
stream.
hard.
Yeah.
So I don't think so
So,
it's a complete GUI. It just has a Jupyter notebook, right? If I'm not wrong here.
sir, go to
So
work stream hosted desktop.
oh, it's a desktop. Wow, then it's good. But you can see it is gonna cost you like, okay, so even if I go with G2 Professional, that is $24 per month, and we will have to see like how much it allows us. 1 TB persistent storage, auto shutdown, total notebook is 50. Okay, so there is a limit on 50 notebooks itself. So maybe I will go for Workstream hosted networks, a desktop. So I have private networking and everything, add-on details, premium support, how much it is gonna cost me. Okay, so we don't have that. Okay, let's see here. So they are saying that running like V100, which we selected, is $2.3 per hour. How much it is? Let me just calculate. No, man, it is pretty costly. At no means like how it is any cheaper.
Costly.
Yeah, it is costly. These three are window licenses, okay?
Hmm.
And the powerful, actually the deep learning one is Linux only, okay? So you are not getting much of a GUI here, okay? So mostly I
Okay.
think you will get GUI in these three in the Windows one.
Okay.
And this one is not easy. $2.3 per hour. And let's say if you were to train even for 12 hours or 10 hours per day, 23 $23 per day. And if it, okay, and if you were to multiply 230 into, so yeah, it still comes to $700 to $800 just even if I'm training 10 hours per day. If I were to train like 24 hours per day, I don't see any advantage here. I can do the same configuration for you over there in GCP, and maybe you can tell that how means like how fast it is, or like maybe if we can do the pricing here right now. So let's just do the pricing of the same configuration that you that they are showing us, right? So let's see if it is any one, and they also have Ubuntu and general purpose. So what is their preemptive? Let me check. Sorry, 8 CPU, 30 GB RAM. Okay, I think we have that same system here as well. 8 CPU, 30 GB RAM. So in general purpose, they will provide you something with 8 CPU. So let's do this. 8 CPU, 30 GB RAM. Fine. Add one
Yeah.
V100, just one. Let's see how much is the pricing here. And let's say just to understand how much it is going to cost me, SSD, they have put 50 GB. Now we will have to put 375 because that's the minimum here. 24 hours, 7 day. Okay, let's just check. $1,400. I don't think so it is really cheap or anything. 2.04. This is 2.3. This is costly. So they might be internally using the same GCP anyways,
Yeah,
and they
right.
are getting
Might
this
be.
cost and they are adding their profit over there. And now they are costing you 2.3. So why I will use that? I have a GCP account already.
Right, sir. Right.
So always do this comparison. There is a very easy way of doing this comparison. Just do this comparison. I don't think so they should be able to fool you here. And again, because I selected 375 GB SSD, that is going to cost some money. I'm pretty sure if it was to just 50 GB or something, which they are selecting, starts at 50 GB. Okay. So for 50 GB, I can easily think like it would be some 1,450 or $60 only. There would be like 20 or $30 even less overall. Okay. I'm not sure, but one has to look at it properly. But I'm just telling that by no means I am thinking that this dedicated GPU is cheaper for my use case. And this is like basic stuff. Means like my my mobile phone is powerful than a lot of these systems right now. Hourly, monthly. So maybe monthly there would be some advantage. Yeah, same man. It is not really that cheap. 1343, and we got like what 1491. Okay, and that too because we have a slightly bigger SSD. Even if there is some cost advantage, you need to understand do they provide extra, like, okay, fine, this is there, and even if it is saving you $50, make sure that you understand, no to cloud storage, sorry, because it will start costing me money immediately. Okay, so basically what I'm trying to say is, even if it is gonna cost me $50, what about the other things that I get here? Are all of those things also available in Paperspace? If no, then maybe at POC level you will not think about it, but later you will really regret it, because then there is very less things you can add on top of it. So that is what my point is, that be careful that even if you're buying it, you also have to buy, or basically have to understand that you also have to buy other services which comes free with us. Okay, like with Azure or AWS. So it has like you can also get like a private Azure, AWS, GCP. So what is the whole point? Like I can get it directly as well. So I don't see like why would I bother with all this? So they can also provide private clusters. So I think that is one good thing. They will do the on-premise. But again, if it's a DGX card or DGX server, we can also buy DGX directly from NVIDIA itself. So yeah, of course, look into it. Is there any real genuine pricing advantage, or it is just like they are giving low price, but then they are not giving any kind of separate app engine or anything? Then you are again in disadvantage, because once your product becomes slightly large scale, what you will do again? Will you go to some other cloud provider all of a sudden? Because migrating can be a really headache at the end of the day.
Right, sir. Agreed.
Okay.
Tash, one question.
Yeah, please.
We deployed a pickle file on an already trained model, right? Say we have something like examples of like Amazon or Facebook, which tracks the user data real time and process the model.
Yeah.
So what is the best way? Like, do we still use the same approach?
Yeah, so what they do is they will basically take streams. Okay, so they will have large machines. Okay, so inference server is just running inference. There is a training and retraining servers. Okay, so they will make the copies of data and retrain it, and then update the model after 5 days. Let's say with today's data, the model is going to be retrained, and after 2 or 3 days, if they see the performance is actually going up, they will change the current model with the new model.
Like it happens in background or kind of scheduled task?
It's not just background. They are different systems. They can afford any, they have their own data servers, right? You have to understand this. So maybe they will put 20% of servers on inference, because inference takes less computational power. And maybe they will deploy rest 40 or 50% servers on training and retraining of the system. So they don't have to worry about a single system and a single process. Okay. They just have clusters of servers on their hand. They can just redirect the computing to some different cluster altogether.
Okay, but the approach is same for all, right? Even small scale industries.
The trained model will do the inference, and you do not try to train that model in live. Okay, that is not touched at all. You do it on a separate process or on a separate computer altogether.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, guys, any other questions here? Okay. Okay, guys, so generic advice, you can do these deployments and you can learn a bit more about web development. Again, this is not a complete web development course, first of all, so we are not going to go into web development. But to host a proper website and to display your projects properly, you need to learn some web development tools. So Flask happens to be one of them. If you want to go with details, or if you want to live in like slightly more with slightly more complications, Django happens to be a better backend anyways. And the Flask is of course there, and you should also maybe learn a bit about Bootstrap. So Bootstrap is provided by, I think, Twitter, I guess. I'm forgetting who provides Bootstrap. Okay, whatever it is. So the beautiful, like a lot of good themes are available, so you don't have to develop the themes. So the themes are available. There are a lot of themes which are completely free, first of all, and they are by default customizable to mobile, iPad, and desktop and everything. Okay. So to kind of work on the front end, I don't think so you have to start from scratch. You can download some CSS, base CSS, and you're going to start customizing it immediately. Okay. So Bootstrap could be one very good tool for your front end web development. And Django, Bootstrap, maybe learn some AngularJS or React.js. So Angular is good and React is also pretty good. Okay. So if someone wants to do this, someone wants to host good websites and want to showcase their projects, these could be good tools to learn and to integrate with your front end and the back end. And that can be hosted on GCP or Azure or AWS, whatever you like actually. And you can showcase this to your end user or maybe to your hiring manager or yeah, any prospect hiring person. And they will be really impressed if you can put all of your projects properly live on a site. Even I think you can host on GitHub as well these days. GitHub.io, something is there, right? So you can host websites on GitHub pages as well. So you don't have to worry too much here. You just have to create your GitHub and over there you can host your GitHub projects or any kind of project in live as well. Okay. So a lot of people are trying to do this. So Git client, you can use a terminal, GitHub desktop, or I don't know, like you can use Putty or something. So maybe you guys can also do this. I just remembered that on GitHub, you can also do this. So you can use a project site. You can start from, you can choose a theme. Okay, so there are a lot of themes that are built in here. So choose a theme and then you will have to do some kind of repository setting first of all. So you will have to see that what kind of repository you want to put all this data in. And you choose the theme, and based on that theme, you can develop your website altogether over there. Okay. And then you can go there and you can commit and update your website as you want. So GitHub Pages is also a very good, I think, way to host your introductory projects for rest of the world to see and witness. So you will just require a GitHub account, GitHub repository account. That's it. Okay, guys, so that's all from my side. I don't have anything else to add right now. If you have any questions, I would like to take them. Otherwise, we can